Welcome to BlueBoxPHP tutorial series. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at user items, specifically text user items, and also we'll just touch on some of the date and numbering formats as well. So if we load our staff demo project and just rebuild the index page, we can see we've just got some staff details, 2 pages, and if we look at the details for a staff member, we've got their reference, name, though the name isn't filled in, it's just got staff name, department they're working in, start date, evaluation date, salary, and just a text box which could be CV, comments, or something of that nature. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create an item. We've got if we look in the data box, we've got a first name and a last name. What we're going to do is we're going to create a user item that concats these 2 fields and give us a staff name. Okay, as this is the data box table here, and when we open the detail, this is the detail box, this box here. We're actually going to work on the detail box. So if we select the detail box, right click and select new item, this opens up the new user item. The item can be a text item, PayPal or Google Cart. We're just going to use a text item and we'll give the item a name of full name. And what we can do, there's a description of some of the features here. What we can do is if we select the first name, these are a list of fields or items within the table. So you can see we've got sales reference, first name, last name. There's a photo column, CV column, start date, salary, department, email, evaluation date and such. So what we're going to do is we're going to say use the first name column, space, last name column. Now that means that this item is going to concat the first name and the last name into one single item called full name. So if we select OK, and we now open our detail box list of items, we can see at the bottom now we now have full name. I'll just bring it up to their photo, and if we now look at this is our detail box layout. We can see here that we're mapping the different table fields to our items within the staff view, staff detail view, and under the name we're going to select our newly created item of full name, and we're going to rebuild our index page. If we now look at Stephen Granger's details, we can now see the name as using our new full name item has added Stephen and Granger together to just create a name. So we're going to create another user text item now, and we're going to use it to create a substring of this text field here, and we're going to display it in the data table. So if we open the data box and select new item for data box, and we'll call this item short CV, and what we're going to do is basically this string here. So we can put any PHP function when we're creating items, or multiple PHP functions, and to tell BlueBoxPHP that we're going to use a PHP function, we start with an open curly bracket, and then we type in our function, and we're going to use the PHP function substring, and we're going to tell substring to use one of our fields, the CV field. So we can select it and add it, or we can just type it in. So it's open square bracket, the name of the field, and close square bracket. And then also for the substring function in PHP, we have to tell it which character we're going to start from. So we're always going to start at position 0 at the beginning of the string, and we're going to grab the first 16 characters. We then close the PHP function and close a curly bracket to tell BlueBoxPHP that that's the end of our PHP. So if we now select OK, we can now see short CV has been added to the data box. I'll just bring it up here under CV so it's still in one place. And if we open up the content page, the sales bot page, we can now see we have short CV here also. I'll drag that up to CV and we'll use it. And if we rebuild the index page, we now have short CV with the first 16 characters of our text box. Each text box is the same for our demonstration. So it's grabbing the same 16 characters, but it's actually grabbing the first 16 characters of each of its own record. So if we look at our detail record for Stephen Granger, we can see that we've got a start date, an evaluation date, and a salary, which is a numeric field. What we're going to do is we're just going to change the start date, evaluation date format, and also change the numbering format. So if we select the start date and go to the database column information and select edit, what we can do is select the format that we want the date to be displayed in. These are all PHP date formats. So we'll select this date format, select OK. If we now rebuild, we can now see that the start date is in 9th of March 2011 instead of a numeric representation of it, and we'll just change the evaluation date as well. Just select EV date, edit, and keep it to the same format, and select OK. Rebuild the page. Okay, we can now see our two dates are formatted how we want them to be. And our numeric field here, salary, if we just select salary and select edit, what we can see is we can say the number of digits we want after the decimal point. So we'll select 2. You can say how your negative number is going to be formatted. And our digital group at the moment, it's UK digital grouping, comma for the thousands, dot for the decimal places. But for this presentation we'll just change it to the, I believe, French representation of numbering. We select OK and rebuild our page and look at the details. Yeah, so our salary is now formatted, our two dates are formatted, and our short, our user item for short CV is also working. So that concludes the tutorial on text user items. Text user items are a very powerful way of creating items, so I hope you get time to experiment with it and see what usage you can find.